In the Streets TV. Let them know what's your name and what you rep, my brother.
What's going on, brother? I'm Dr. Dennis B. Mckesey. Here from my organization is called OSG Off School Grounds. I've been in education for almost 28 years, from school aid teacher, assistant principal. I was a principal in Harlem for 10 years. And now for the past 10 years, I've been coaching and mentoring principals all across the country. One of my amazing proteges is Dr. Travis Brown, right here at Farris Academy Charter School.
You said 28 years.
Yeah.
Brother, how old are you? You got the founder youth or something.
I'm about to be 50 next in May. So yeah, man, I started education probably man, I was in my early 20s. I was in education. Okay. Became a principal at 31. And again, just the rest has been history, man. It's been amazing how I've been able to impact young people's lives and impact other people that are impacting young people's lives and stuff like that. So this is a really dope experience to be able to watch and see how education, hip hop can all kind of come together to do great things for kids, man. It really is special.
That's real dope, man. Because like I was talking to your other brother, leadership. And you guys making Knicks look great.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? I respect that to the fullest because, you know, in our times now, we need that even more than ever.
No question.
Like, what inspired you to get to this?
Yeah, well, you know what? I think probably when I think about my experiences in school, I had good experiences in school, right? I think I was made what I call bad teacher proof early on in my life. You know what I'm saying? That education meant something to my family. Education meant something to the people that were educating me, and I just felt like, you know, I remember my third and fourth grade teachers like it was yesterday. Her name was Miss Shannon, and my fourth grade teacher, Miss Bracey, and I remember the love that they shown and the impact them showing love really meant. And so I just knew, like, at that point, that education might be a place that I wanted to land and to be able to support, support my family and also change the world. But it was bugged because I think it didn't really dawn on me until I was 17 years old. My last year in high school, I became a father. I became a father at 17 years old, and I remember the experiences of knowing at that moment that I could do one or two things, which is, I could sit there and act as if, having a child shouldn't change your life, or I'm going to change my life. And at that moment, I realized that I was going to finish with high school, I was going to finish with college, and I was going to pursue a career that was going to be meaningful and things like that. And so that was probably like the turning point in my life of just knowing that young people really do need somebody to inspire them. I was fortunate enough to have both of my parents. I lived with both of my parents. I remember sharing the experience with my father when I found that I was going to be a father. And my dad looked at me and was like, yo, you know what you got to do. I taught you what you need to do. And there are young people out here that unfortunately may not have that. So I'm saying, as an educator, I want to take on the responsibility of preparing other school leaders, other leaders throughout the community to be able to help young people through some of their more challenging times like I did.
That's dope, man. I appreciate that.
Yes, man.
And man, you originally from where?
I was born in the Bronx, but I grew up in Mount Vernon. I consider myself made in Mount Vernon, money in Mount Vernon. And, when we talk about Mount Vernon and hip hop, you think about Heavy D, you talk about Pete Rock, CL Smooth, you think about, some real heavy hitters, Jeff Red and, a few other folks, Al B. Shaw. And I was always understanding of the impact that music and entertainment made on education, right? Because as a young person, even though I was in school, when I left school, what was I running home to do? I was going home to watch Video Music Box, or I was going to buy another cassette from the local record shop and all this other kind of stuff. So I understood the influence that hip hop had on my life, you know what I'm saying? And so I think the inspiration truly comes from me saying at this very moment that education as well as hip hop and the entertainment industry have to now stop operating in silos and actually start coming together to do what we all know is just best for our young people, and giving them the opportunity, giving the experiences, start closing some of these opportunity gaps that are out here for our young people. And so, I've also had the fortune now over the past, since 2020, I actually started a not-for-profit organization called Off School Grounds, OSG, and it's a collective of well over 100 plus principals, school leaders, as well as entertainers from across this country, actually coming together to fight the good fight of understanding what we need to do to change communities. And so, being here today is special on so many levels, because a couple of weeks ago, I was actually at a school with one of the principals that I support and that I mentor in Harlem, and Jim Jones was there. And I realized at that moment that the impact that both Jim and I could make collectively, or me and Dame, or me or anybody in the hip hop industry can make collectively, I felt like, you know what, we need to do more of that. And so when 100%. Somebody's looking for a space in which they want to either do a video shoot or come talk to kids or what have you, schools should begin that process, start opening the door and stop closing in the face of hip hop.
That's
so
dope.
I'm really really happy about all of my experiences over my almost 30 years in education, and it is my hope that young people start to look at us a little bit different. Don't look at us as the principals in the tight suits and looking corny. Like this is how we look now. You know what I'm saying?
Swag is back, baby.
For real. You know what I mean? Whether it's Montclair or Tim's, at the end of the day, it's important that I'm that same guy who can influence communities, whether I'm doing this way or in a suit. So I'm really excited about the partnerships with education and hip hop, OSG, and everybody else that I know.
Where can we find you?
Well, right now you can find me on the official OSG on Instagram. You can find me on the official OSG Off School Grounds on Facebook. And that's really it at this point. You're gonna start seeing a lot more of us, because with all the principals from New York all the way over to Compton and Vegas and everywhere in between, you're gonna start seeing even more principals that look like Travis Brown and myself that are doing some great work.
Salute to you, King.
Salute. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you.
In the Streets TV.
In the Streets TV. I love that. Thank y'all so much, brother.